So I have a confession to make.
You didn't see that One Piece trailer yet?
I did see that.
Okay.
We'll talk about that a bit later.
All right.
But here's the confession.
What sins will you tell us, Mike?
Oh, can we guess? Is it you didn't pay your taxes?
That's not much of a sin, though.
You voted for Mark Saunders, didn't you?
Nah, man, he looks like a Fury voter.
So, well, the confession, first of all, is it's now June 26th. This is our first recording of the month. We're not going to make quota this month.
That's the mentality of a quitter, Mike. You should endeavor to try and get one last recording at the end of this month.
Well, yeah, it'll probably be me. It'll probably be on my mind or something to that effect. We'll see. Admittedly, it's been a busy month on the personal side.
It changes.
I wasn't around for a chunk of the month either.
Yeah, well, yeah, you were vacationing. I know that.
Well, somewhat unwillingly.
Yes.
Isn't that the best kind of vacation? An unwanted one?
So, and Mo was just doing his stuff.
Yeah.
Amy, James, they're not here. We just decided just to hook up the microphones, meet up again in person, do a space heater chat, and hit the record button and see what happens. There's still a fair amount of stuff to talk about. Monday evening, June 26, 2023, is also a big day here in Toronto. And I know we have to go off topic for a couple seconds, but we have the television on here in our 6-point studio.
90 seconds and counting.
90 seconds before the polls close in the Toronto mayoral by-election. And
the $14 million by-election.
Yes. It's amazing. It's amazing what an inappropriate affair can cost taxpayers. I have other punchlines, but that's worth seeing in person, hearing them in person.
Not only that, Tory said that he wasn't going to vouch for a candidate.
And he did in the final weekend.
Yes, he vouched for Anna Bailão, so he broke his promise. And I think McKelvey also was supposedly not supposed to
She backed
vouch.
Bailão as
She
well, right?
also backed Anna Bailão.
I think she got support from most of the councillors.
There were several that did vouch for her, yes. You know, the people who just want things to stay the same in Toronto.
Which means they won't. Anyway, we're recording this as the polls begin to close in the Toronto mayoral by-election. And what is it? 102 candidates.
Good old 102.
Yeah, decided to run in this. And probably by the time we're finishing this recording, we'll have a good idea who will become the next mayor of the biggest city in Canada, center of the universe.
Gong Xiaohua, the man who will save Toronto.
I'm telling you, man, Toronto's going to elect their first Asian mayor, and he's going to be here to rescue us all, you know?
You know, I always think of the Ergo Proxy opening theme song when I read that line on his political ad.
We're talking Gong, right?
Yeah. Such a good opening song.
What was the line?
Come and save me. That's just the chorus of Ergo Proxy.
Maybe I shouldn't have asked.
Yeah, it's binaural.
It's a good show, man.
No,
It's a good, like, it has a good beginning and a good end, but it has a mushy middle. Like, the middle really drags on for longer than it should have, because there was that part where they were just stuck in, like the desert or whatever, like, dark wasteland, and that ran for, I think, 5 or 6 or 7 episodes, I feel like. It's a little too long, but I think the ending mostly made up for that part of Ergo Proxy.
I never saw it, so what do I know some days?
Really good dub, too, because it did air on...
yeah.
It did air on Canadian TV.
It was during that area with, like, Witch Hunter Robin and, like...
So it was part of the Bionic... Was it
No,
part of Bionic
it was...
or not really?
Like, it's a similar vein as Witch Hunter Robin in terms of the mood.
Yeah.
No, that aired on G4 Tech TV Canada.
Oh, okay. Another bygone era.
Because a lot of the Genion shows went to
that's
G4 because that was the agreement that they struck with Genion.
So going back into history, I mean, boy, was I mistaken. And I know Jesse would probably get on my case for forgetting all that stuff.
Truly the golden years of anime on Canadian television.
Yeah.
And we will never see it anything like that ever again.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things in terms of broadcast television, just generally speaking, that we'll never see again. Mm-hmm. I mean, all this things going on in terms of ESPN, TSN here in Canada. I'm sure Sportsnet has some cutting to do in the very near future. Tim and Friends recently got cut, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Bell sold or is trying to sell some of the radio stations now that they've made those cuts.
Mm-hmm. A couple TSN affiliates got cut, and you hear, and of course, if you're in the States, you know all about everything going on at ESPN. So, you know, it's an age that's ending for, like, I don't know. I there's a part of me that says it's a sign of the times, but I'm not totally sure this is a path we want to go towards.
I just miss appointment tuning, first off.
Same.
Because if I lived in the US where Cartoon Network and Toonami are still running and there's still anime playing every Saturday night.
Friday night.
Is it Friday? I could have swore it was Saturday. But
Wait, wasn't YTV's on Friday?
No, I'm talking about like Cartoon, like
Toonami,
the new
Toonami,
iteration of Toonami.
Yeah,
yes,
right.
Bionics was Friday night for Canada on YTV, but they still get new shows.
Do they really?
Yeah, they still periodically get new anime that airs on Toonami because Toonami is now the anime block.
Okay.
For Cartoon Network. So, like, they're getting JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. They're getting One Piece again. I think they did air Food Wars. Like, they will just periodically still get, like, better shows or just popular shows.
It's just I don't keep up with what could be on broadcast. I mean, maybe we're spoiled by the streaming, although that has its own issues, of course.
Because when it's freely available, I just don't make the effort to watch it. But when there's that element of, but if I don't catch it by this time, I can miss it.
So basically a FOMO method, a FOMO mentality.
Which, that also is like a slippery slope. I mean, you see what they're doing with Paramount and shelving Star Trek episodes and so forth, right?
Well, Disney Plus is pulling a few things too.
Same thing there, yeah.
And then, well, not quite the same degree, but
all in the name of tax write-offs.
Well, I was about to refer to Warner Brothers as well, or whatever they call themselves, Warner Discovery or whatever they call themselves these days.
Yeah. They're also doing trying to sell off half their catalog of music, and I'm like, that's come on.
Okay.
So I miss that. That's why I don't really watch anime anymore for the most part.
You think so because it's no longer can't miss TV?
No, I mean, it depends on the anime. I mean, if you like certain longer running shonen titles, people still watch that, like One Piece and so forth.
Well, I'm just speaking for myself.
I mean, for myself personally, it's like I feel the exact same way you feel. The only time I'll watch anything anime related is if it's like an ongoing show that I'm watching week to week. But most of the time, I'm like hearing about a good show afterwards when it's been a couple of seasons since it's been out, right?
Yeah, like I otherwise, like I've said this before, I otherwise don't watch anime by myself anymore. I just prefer watching anime with other people now because that's just the experience I prefer.
Yeah, it's sort of, as we're talking about this, you kind of brought back the whole binge watch dilemma in terms of when it comes to anime watching. Right, we used to enjoy a title evolve from on a week to week basis.
Yes,
and then in the streaming era, it's become more about the binge, and maybe that's what's not made it interesting anymore to some degree.
Binging is fine for catalog content.
So basically, older content.
Yes,
but
I think for new things, it's ideal to still have things come out on a schedule, because how else will you build up a fan base organically? Here's a perfect example. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, seasons 1 through 5, aired on Crunchyroll. As it came out in Japan, once a week. Part 6, Stone Ocean, Netflix has the rights now. They released it in chunks. So they threw up 13 episodes on right away. you don't have that many people talking about part 6 nearly as much as people did for the previous 5 parts, because there was not enough room to have discussion build and talk about the things that happened. Like, yeah, you can talk about the 13 episodes of Stone Ocean, but then, after a week, people might not be talking about it as much anymore. When you have it week to week, you have that conversation sustained over a period of 13 to 26 weeks, or however long it runs for. That's how JoJo got so popular.
Slow build.
On the slow build. Okay. We're going to have a version of this discussion in a bit, but yes or no?
Yes. Sorry.
No, but where okay, maybe you have an idea what I'm about to ask, because it's sort of related to what we'll talk about later. Could Cowboy Bebop, the live action, been helped if an episode came out 1 week at a time?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yes, absolutely.
I feel like we talked about this already.
Yeah,
Did
no,
we?
definitely.
I wouldn't doubt it. It's just maybe just to hammer in that point one more time.
No, absolutely. And I feel like what they're doing with One Piece, it's being released all at once, right?
It's what?
It's being released all at once. It's 8
I
episodes. all
don't
at
know.
once.
I would assume so because it's Netflix.
So I feel like that's
That's probably a safe assumption.
Well, Netflix does sometimes put out stuff week to week for certain things, but for the most part, I believe it's still just, at the very least, in batches, if not just the whole thing out at once.
Remember I've mentioned in the past, and I do now remember bringing this up, the way Amazon Prime has a habit of doing some of their series. Maybe they'll bring out the first 2 or 3, and then they'll go week to week with the rest of the season.
Same thing with Disney Plus. They're doing that with their shows now too. Yeah, no. So One Piece is releasing all at once. But yeah, Disney Plus is the same thing, and I appreciate any time they do that. The only times I'm not appreciative of it is if it's like they don't. I like it when it's like they release 2 or 3 episodes and then like week to week, because usually the first episode, it's not a bad episode. Pilot episodes are pretty good, but it kind of leaves you wanting a little bit more. If you get the 1-2 punch of a good 1-2 of a beginning of a series,
I'm okay with 2 episodes at once.
Initially, yes. I mean, Night Court, the recent revival of Night Court kind of did that, the first 2 episodes like that. And I think that's still an MO for a lot of broadcast television. Anyway, Kevin and Mo, we're all watching the votes as they come in back in the election. Just going back to that.
over 1,400 polling locations in a city of 2 million people. Like, that's like, if we get less than 30% voter turnout, that's like an embarrassment.
Well, sure. In this around 6 points here, each of the around 6 points, there are 3 polling stations within a 100-meter radius of
radius. Wow.
Every one of these buildings has their own polling station.
Well, I guess it makes sense. Make it convenient for people to vote.
Sure. I mean, and it shouldn't, which is cool. Which I think in that sense is cool, but it also, and there's really no excuse.
Yeah, if a polling station is in your building and all you have to do is go downstairs and you still don't want to vote, come on, man.
Like, your only excuse is that you have no limbs.
I mean, even then, but you can vote online
we'll do
or something.
We can do something for you.
But you can't vote online.
Sorry,
having
mail-in ballots.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even then, we are, like, having been a former election worker, because I had no job during the pandemic, we would be able to do something for you. Right?
I see.
Okay. While the results are coming in, let's have a conversation. As I said, this is the first thing we've recorded for June, so it's been roughly a month. When did we tape the second?
Anime North.
It's basically a month, yeah.
It is a month, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. The 27th. Yep. So we taped the episode, the second episode at Anime North, episode 82, on the 27th at Anime North. It's been a month. To put this into perspective of how unattentive I've also been, while the episode itself has long been up on the feeds, I have yet to update the website with that episode. That all said, and this is not to defend it, but this also says, I wasn't worried about not updating it, because what we talked about in that episode, I think for now, isn't totally, while not evergreen, it's a discussion that will keep on giving for a little while longer.
Especially since July is just around the corner.
Mm-hmm. So we talked at length, if you missed it, we talked at length about the debut of the Kenshin anime coming up in July. What was the date What was the date again?
July.
I think it was 6.
I believe so.
Anyway, and everyone gave their opinions at the time. Even Anime North themselves about how to feel about their feelings concerning Kenshin these days, and probably more specifically its creator.
Oh yeah.
But but there is now a follow-up. We found out that the North American debut of the new Kenshin anime will happen at Anime Expo.
Yes.
On the 3rd. This Monday.
So,
next Monday.
And obviously that's now touched off the discussion. We knew the discussion would happen. This is a discussion that'll just be ongoing for some time. But one person in our circle who hasn't said too much yet, for the record, is Mo. Putting him on the spot.
Oh, I mean, my take is kind of easy. I kind of echo Amy's point in regards to like, just don't tell us about it. You know, I get it. You like it. It's your thing. Whatever. Just don't tell me about it. You know, if you secretly watch Harry Potter every single night because you like that, that's cool. Just don't tell me about it. I mean, it's actually not cool, but just don't tell me about it.
Oh, my sister did go see the play.
Oh,
Chris Child.
Kershaw?
Yeah, she asked me if I wanted to go, and I said, well, you know, to be honest, she has enough money. She doesn't need mine.
Oh,
Nice.
that's one way to put it. That's an interesting way to put
I
it.
just, you know, I did enjoy Harry Potter when I read it all those years ago. Book 4 is my favorite.
Goblet of Fire.
Yeah.
Nice. That's actually my
And-
favorite one of the movies.
Yeah. And
So it's where they murder Edward just over and over and over again. You know.
who's Edward again?
Oh, sorry. Batman.
Oh, yeah, because he was, yeah, that's right.
I'm sorry. I don't remember his name, but I remember the things he's in.
Wait, was that not Hayden Christensen, right?
Nah, it's Twilight.
Robert Pattinson.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He was that guy. But,
And the haircuts. Remember the hair in Goblet of Fire?
yeah.
I feel like we're talking about this too much.
I know. I just really like the ball part of Harry. Like when they went to the ball. I don't know why I really like that part of. Okay. Why are we? Okay.
Yeah, we should be talking
Okay.
about this.
God damn it. God
No,
damn
but we're
it.
talking about the Kenshin. Yeah.
But basically, I just don't feel the need to support that woman anymore.
Oh, yo, it's in.
Okay, first set of results are in.
Guess who's up, bro?
Okay, so after how many polls?
Miss 6,000.
600. After 600 polls,
Oh,
Anna
600.
Bailo has a 4,000 vote lead.
So,
Okay,
yeah, about half the polls are closed. And
are reporting
reported, yeah.
because
Closed reporting? I don't know.
but because the ballots are all would go through a computer feeder, so they're
Fury is getting-
compiling. So this is getting. Oh, look, Chris Guy actually got 2,100 votes.
Chris guy.
Yeah, Chris Sakioka.
I like
That's
how,
Chris Guy's legal name.
I like how no one knows his name.
Who's Chris Guy again? I
Look,
forgot.
That influencer, the guy,
No, I don't remember.
the anti-vaxxer.
Oh,
He did run for mayor.
I also like that that's how people know him as the anti-vaxxer.
So
But yeah, look
Now
at,
his name now sounds vaguely familiar.
Fury got more votes than Hunter. Wow.
yeah, see,
He got more votes than Brad Bradford so far. That is not cool, bro.
I like how they didn't show his face.
Because they're not going to promote him at all.
so okay, after 600, okay.
I mean, a 3,000 vote lead. I mean, I'm telling you, man. Yo, she's gonna probably not win this.
This is a possibility. This is a
Yo,
possibility.
but where's our dude? Where's our dude's gonna rescue us? Where's Gong at?
So, and okay, just to put things into perspective here, once again, just for outsiders, for much of the campaign, and that ran through Anime North as well, Olivia Chow, who is quite a bit, I guess on the spectrum would be on the very much on the left, was
What?
very much the favorite.
1,600 votes
So
For what?
for what's this? So for the rescuer.
Oh, for
Yeah,
Zhao
okay.
Falgong, yeah.
So
That's not bad, yo.
we might be
No,
in
the
for
people
a
voting
slight
for
surprise.
him are. I bet you most of those are just troll votes.
I like how he has twice as many votes as Giorgio Mamalidi. An actual.
Good.
Anyway, as I said, this
That guy has no right to be in a position of power.
after that's a long story in and of itself, and you're looking at recent Ontario
It
history.
is coming down to the wire for this, man. She is up by like not that much. A thousand polls closed. She's up by 12,000 votes. I'm telling you, man.
Let's pay attention. This is getting
Oh,
interesting.
you kidding me?
Maybe status quo is what we're aiming for.
I'm telling you, man. Oh man, I feel like I like when like you call something ahead of time and you're like you get it right.
Me? Did I say
Nah,
that?
the child's probably not gonna win today.
I did say I wouldn't have been. Certainly it could have been, but it just wouldn't. I'd be maybe only mildly surprised.
I mean, then again, there's still another like 400 places to go. Maybe she picks up a lot in the next little bit, but probably not.
Okay.
I'm going on the record with this.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Fuck you, John Tory.
Oh, bro, come on, man.
This is why. This is also why.
Also, what was this? What if this was all like coordinated? What if he did this on purpose?
Of course he did it on purpose.
Like he knew Balor was gonna win.
Of course he did it on purpose.
Oh man.
This is why. Fuck. Who's my mayor? I don't remember her name right now for some reason.
Bonnie
Hunter?
Crombie.
This is why Bonnie Crombie is mayor, because Hazel endorsed her when Hazel should have kept her mouth shut.
I mean,
And I know, and we all love Hazel, but Hazel should have kept her mouth shut.
Well, assuming Bonnie Crombie becomes a liberal leader, we'll have a do-over there in the near future.
Because I forgot who the other guy was. I hate that I forgot his name.
Yeah, okay, I get it.
Because I just remember how when Hazel McCallion endorsed Bonnie Crombie, it was decided.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, how is that fair for the other guy?
Yeah, I know who you're.
It's not.
Name just escapes me, but yes, okay.
And I just remember reading an article on the news where I think he had a family member die, like shortly after the election, or like around the time where, like, the polls were coming in, what the results were coming in.
That was a rough night, I'm sure.
And so, or something like that. It was around that window of time, right? And so at the funeral, Crombie did go to the funeral to pay her respects, and they had to tell her to leave.
It was that bitterly fought at the end,
Well,
wasn't it?
because it was very recent, right? It was, because it's not fair to him, right? It's like, I get Bonnie Crombie going, but, like, that just tells you, like, how he felt at the time.
Okay.
That he got robbed of a fair shot at being the mayor of Mississauga.
And you think that's basically what's happened here?
Yes.
We'll get back to this a bit later, probably in the next half hour.
Because
Okay.
I'm not happy right now.
And you don't live in Toronto.
I don't live in Toronto anymore.
but it's exciting, right?
Anyway,
See, this is where we
Differ,
differ. I don't want my politics to be entertaining.
but that makes it more fun. No.
No, politics should be a
Boring?
little more boring.
No, but see,
I agree
Like-
with it, but
Like, yes, a little entertainment can be okay in the right circumstances, but not when you're like, not when it's like this.
Mike.
cool.
Like when people were voting for, who's that? Oh, you're getting a robocall? Okay.
I like how it just lets you know. It's like, yeah, it's likely spam.
I get those a lot on my
Answers.
phone too.
Like,
okay, anyway, finish your thought
it's-
because I want to get back on track here.
It's because, all the fucking conservatives in City Hall want to keep the status quo the same. That's why John Tory broke his promise of not advocating for a candidate. So he basically screwed Brad Bradford at the same time. Because the people that are like in Tory's
Stratosphere.
are Anna Bilow and Brad Bradford, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So
Small C. Basically gone small. Well, small c conservative, I guess, so to speak.
And it's like, wow, we're really gonna trust the words of an adulterer. Okay.
Have you seen pictures of her?
Of
Remind
who?
me later.
Of who? The staff member?
Yes.
I haven't. No.
We'll wait until.
Or I probably have, and I don't remember because it's been months.
Hey,
Yes, it has, but
I mean, Chow's pulling up. You know, she's only down by 9,000 votes. You know,
so it's back down to 4 digits. Okay, cool.
Well, there's not enough
and
Chinese people to push her over. I suspect.
Mo is keeping up with this in real time on his phone. Okay, so do we want to end the Kenshin discussion? Yeah, I think
we're really gonna allow a drunk driver to be the mayor of Toronto.
Oh, for God's sakes!
it's like I don't know, man. Maybe you call for like
Most of the city is forgotten, but I still remember that she got busted for drunk driving years ago.
Could she call for like a recount or something?
I don't know.
It's close enough. I do like how Saunders is so far in third place. Not even funny.
That's there's the update on CP24. Okay. So
Kenshin. Yeah, don't watch it, guys. I mean, I don't know. I shouldn't be so dismissive of that. Work went into it. People like it, but you know, just know that you're watching.
Well, you don't have to make.
Don't worry. Don't make
Mo.
excuses. Don't worry about it.
That's good.
The thing is, it comes down back. For me, it's always it's an inside Japan and then an outside Japan perspective.
I mean, I hear you on that. The whole idea of being culturally sensitive to another culture's take on certain things. The thing with the Dalai Lama a little while back.
Well, that one, yeah.
Right? People arguing that, you know, they do stuff differently over there. Should be sensitive. I'm like, yes. But at the same time, no. Come on.
Yeah, that's cultural, but this is like criminal justice, differing criminal justice system takes also, too.
That's true.
So that's what like.
No. The court of public opinion should oversee whatever stupid criminal justice ruling you got in the first place, right? If the criminal justice system thinks that your crime was not worthy of an appropriate punishment, which it definitely should be, then us, the public, have the right to enforce our own form of public shaming on you in the form of never watching any of your stuff ever again.
That's actually a good comment. It's just not going to happen here in Japan. At least in Japan, it's probably not happening.
It's not
here. Certainly, we can have that. Like, this is a possibility.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
This is a possibility and probably should. Okay, what's the latest vote?
No, still hasn't changed. We're still waiting on 3 polling stations. That's it.
3?
So unless these 3 polling stations have more than 9,000 votes swinging for Olivia Chow.
Well, that's the downtown core though. So
the last 3?
Those are, in theory, Olivia Chow would have a better chance of getting more votes in the downtown core.
Oh,
because that's where more progressive.
Right.
That's where more progressive people live.
You're right. They just closed a bunch.
Because those were the 4 wards that had to be delayed by 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay. So there's 300 stations left. My bad. I misread that. And the vote's down to 5,000 votes.
Okay. All right. So we'll talk more about the mayor in a few minutes. And we're done with the Kenshin conversation, aren't we? Until the debut.
Until the 7th, yeah, I guess. I mean, we'll see how it goes. I feel like there hasn't been any like advertisements per se for it, but then it's Netflix, so they don't really...
No, we're like Crunchyroll.
Well, Aniplex, because it's Aniplex of America who licensed Kenshin because only they could, and only they would even dare touch it because they don't care what public perception is.
But it's also quasi-internal. Well,
they don't care what public perception is.
Yeah, I know.
That. Do we
go Wu-Tang now?
No.
Okay.
Because the point has been made. It's, I was never that big a fan of Kenshin. Like, I liked it back then. I read a good chunk of it back in high school, but for whatever reason, I never finished those last 6 volumes because I stopped buying the manga at that point for whatever reason. I think I just lost interest in buying it. And then finally reread it a few years ago. I finally finished those 6 volumes a few years ago. Or was it like 2 years ago? I don't remember. But in any case, I just feel like I wish this happened, I don't know, before all this happened.
Like before he actually started bringing out new chapters?
No, I wish this happened before he, but I wish this happened before we had any inkling that he had all that child pornography.
Oh, okay. So you wish okay, I get it.
Because the original Rurouni Kenshin anime, as most of us know, it didn't finish. It basically got canceled because they went to a filler arc because at the time they caught up with the manga
and you had to finish.
And ratings plummeted, so...
They cut it off.
And they cut it off.
They cut it off because it was the late 90s.
Because back in that time, how it worked was for shows that they thought were popular and had the chance to go long running, you would have a 50 to 52 episode season ordered right off the bat, or 4 cores as we call it nowadays. Mm-hmm. And then if it remains successful, then yes, it will become your forever long running show, like Naruto, like Bleach,
like One Piece, which we'll get to a bit later,
like Detective
which we
Conan.
hope to get to very soon, by the way.
You see certain shows, like even like D. Grayman ran for like 104 episodes.
Yeah, that's true.
For that same reason.
That is true.
But nowadays, they know not to do that anymore because you don't want filler. Most people don't want filler.
It's a waste of time. It's a waste of effort.
Yes.
And it could be... So you really want to have your source material really straightened out by that point.
And, and fans can wait now. Fans are okay with waiting like a year or so.
We've been programmed
for the next season.
It's the generalization of content. I think because we moved from... what was it? A 12-month, not even 12 month, but September. There used to be a never-ending cycle that we fit into perfectly, and then streaming came along and fucked that up. So now we're all accustomed to having something come out once every couple of years or every 18 months or something. So we're expanding and becoming more accommodated to that, right?
And maybe that. Well, it's a double-edged sword. Two titles come to mind.
Oh, Attack on Titan.
Huh?
Attack on Titan?
Maybe Attack on Titan. No, that's not one of them. But 2 titles did come to mind, and one isn't an anime. Game of Thrones.
Ah, true. But that was that was on a pretty good schedule, no?
It was on a good schedule, but keep in mind the source material is not complete yet.
The books are not on a good schedule.
And then they had to make a...
sorry.
Yeah, and then and it never, they had to complete the television series, and everybody hated it.
Yep.
And we still don't have the ending yet because the next volume of that is not out.
Nope.
Probably still at least half a decade away.
Well, apparently he's actually writing it.
Are you sure?
Well, supposedly he is, based on what I've read lately on it. It's just, obviously, it's just not going to be very fast because of how long that book will be.
Okay.
And then there's supposed to be another book after this one, too, apparently.
And that will probably be the ending one, I think. Second example. Cardcaptor Sakura Clear Card.
Okay.
Because they announced the continuation of that anime recently, even though it's been the better part of 4 or 5 years since the first part of that came out. And it will finally cover the ending because now the source material is out there.
Mm-hmm. I think of some of the shows that came out in the past where they had 52 episodes, but then the ratings didn't warrant it continuing. 2 that come to mind are Rave Master.
Now that you mentioned Rave Master, okay, finish your thought and then.
Rave Master ran for 52 episodes, and it literally cut out at the beginning of a new arc. So it was right when the main antagonist gets introduced in Rave Master. And I always feel like with how successful Hiro Mashima's subsequent works became, I think Rave Master could actually be rebooted now and could still be successful in one way or another.
Well, and to your point, check out the Humble Bundles now.
I thought about it, if only to get all of Rave Master digitally, but I would just rather own that physically because I've owned it physically at various points.
And sold it.
Yes, and I sold them for a lot of money because
There's our resident book flipper.
because when almost complete sets go for like $800, it's hard to pass up. And truth be told, the reason why I didn't end up keeping, because I honestly debated on keeping my set at the time, because I feel like there is a remote chance that it could get re-released in the future. I think the possibility,
Like in physically.
I think there is a remote chance it could happen.
We know who would.
It'd be Kodansha.
Yes.
I have no basis for this thought. It's just me thinking that theoretically it could happen. It actually has some modicum of possibility of happening in the future. And now I'm realizing that those 3 polls, those 3 wards that had their delayed closing, that may have mattered. It could have mattered.
I mean, there's still like another couple of hundred or 100 or so.
Okay, so the latest update is now Chow is
Olivia
poll
Chow's
ahead.
up by almost 10,000 votes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the 3 downtown wards. But
And that's where her base of power is.
True.
So
another one that came to mind was actually Flame of Rekka.
ooh. Now we're talking old school. I wonder how many of I wonder how many of recent fans would recognize that title. But go.
That was, I believe that was a Shonen Sunday title as well. And that also, I think, had a TV series, but it cut out, I think, 52 episodes. It just wasn't popular enough to have it be ongoing. But the manga is so damn good. It was a lot better than I ever expected it would be, because I read a lot of that back in high school and university as well. And I finally procured a set of that recently.
Isn't it re-released? Haven't they re-released it?
No.
Like omnibus type situation?
No. Like, see, omnibus editions for manga usually only happen...
Shonen?
Well, for the most part, yes. But you usually only do an omnibus release like that after an initial release if it was popular. Because why would you spend the money to re-release a series that you've already put out when it didn't do well? You're just sinking more money into a hole.
I mean, limited edition re-releases?
They don't think it's warranted, though.
I mean, there's enough.
You would do that for like Attack on Titan, or you would do that for or you do it for a
Basically,
separate AAA series.
Yeah, I was about to say AAA.
Who's the current licenser for Flame of Rekka?
It's Viz.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sorry,
So
my
Viz
bad.
still has the digital rights. I think it might be on the Viz manga app now, because I believe it's Shogakukan. A lot of the Shogakukan stuff did get put up there. Now, not everything did. There are some exceptions here and there that just don't come to mind at the moment. But Flame of Rekka would be pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I would love to see a reboot of that. And even with like Ushio and Tora, if you remember
old
that.
title, yeah. I only remember it by name right now. I would have to look it up.
I think it's also Kazuhiro Fujita who drew that. But that was actually a newer anime because it had OVAs in the 90s, I believe, and then they did the TV series like several years ago, actually. But then that wasn't popular enough to have it go more than 1 or 2 seasons too. But that's just a recent example. But yeah, even with like, say, Yakitate Japan, that ran for 69 episodes. But what happened was, because that last arc really dragged on, so they cut the arc short in the anime. So did you read or watch Yakitate Japan,
I watched
Mohammed?
the first 2 seasons. I liked the cooking, man. It was good.
Because
That
like
solar hand.
clearly the end of like that world arc was supposed to be the ending for the manga, but then it was too successful. So editor interference came in the way, is what I suspect.
The best kind of interference.
So in the anime, it was the Yakitate 9 arc where they did like a competition style thing at the end. In the manga, it's Yakitate 25. So instead of a 3x3 grid, it's a 5x5 grid. But they clearly cut it short because they knew the content wasn't that good. It's kind of like how with Death Note, they cut out a lot of the content in the second half in the anime.
Okay. I would like stuff I don't know or I don't keep up with. I mean, these were the quasi mainstream titles at the time for our fandom. And I didn't always keep, as you can see, I didn't always keep up. Okay. But that's an interesting perspective, because now we went on this line because you brought it up with Watsuki, the way you hope the scandal evolved with Watsuki.
But so I wish that reboot happened like 15 years ago. Basically. And now it's just like, why now? Well, we know why now, but like, just, shouting into the air, why now? Because now it's
this is like, it's toxic. It's really a toxic.
Because I can't bring myself to support it.
Okay.
In any way.
Yeah. All valid.
And
every single part, and I wanted to bring out all these perspectives over the last month, because every single one of them is valid. Like, finish your thought.
I was just going to say that it would have been cool to see Viz re-release the manga and reprint it, but now that's not going to happen. They're just, see, that's the thing, right? So as we said it in the Anime North episodes, Viz canceled the Hokkaido arc.
The translation of the Hokkaido arc.
They canceled their simul-publishing for the Hokkaido arc, but they didn't outright stop publishing the mainline Kenshin manga or the 2-volume Rurouni Kenshin Restoration miniseries that happens in between. But basically what they did, they didn't say this outright, but you can kind of, read between the lines. They're just letting it lapse. They're just letting it sell out, and they just won't reprint it. Like, depends on who you talk to on whether or not that was the right thing to do. Like, because if they really wanted to just stop, they could have just said, we're just not releasing it anymore, period.
Yeah, send back
like what they did with Act Age. Because that's what happened to Act Age. As soon as those allegations happened, axed. Sales stopped. They didn't do that for the mainline Kenshin series.
Could it not have been a size situation?
A what situation?
Size situation?
What do you mean by size?
It's all because so much has already been, because all those volumes are out there, and they've been out there for years. Act Age was a recent title.
Well, they could have just told their distributors. They could have done the same thing with Kenshin. They just chose not to. But yeah, whatever's still out there, Independence, whatever, it's there. They already, a small store already bought their stock and they can't return it.
Right.
So that's whatever. You can't help that.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking it's a logistical thing. It's one of those
more likely
everything. All trains left the station.
I mean, even in that case, it could just be that profits are more or higher with Kenshin, right?
And then once again, the dollar bill y'all argument, right?
I mean, Act Age was maybe making money, but not
no, because only 2 volumes came out. Only 1 volume came out in Canada.
Right.
Volume 2 didn't even come out by that point.
No.
In Canada, it did get released in the States. I think they canceled it right before Volume 2's release, but then people, stores that already ordered their stock, I guess maybe they couldn't return it, so they just were still out in the wild. Yeah, those were still available, and I had heard that there are some copies of Volume 3 in the wild.
Okay.
Because sometimes you get early printings for stuff in advance. Who knows? I don't know. But that's just something I vaguely recall hearing. I don't know if that really was true or not because I lost my source for it. But yeah, they canceled Act Age. They just flat out axed it, as they should have. So it's just interesting to see the treatment one series got versus the other in similar circumstances. Or you look at Galco-chan from Seven Seas. Kenya Suzuki also had sexual assault allegations, if I'm not mistaken. Seven Seas axed it.
Yeah. Okay.
They didn't even make any announcement. They just quietly axed it when that happened. Because Seven Seas' MO is whenever they cancel something, they don't ever say anything. Well, most people, you should never actually say anything as a publisher anyway. But they stopped distribution of it as well, pretty quickly after those allegations came out.
Okay. Can I not go? Okay. I know one name we didn't bring up in the Anime North episode, but I wonder if it's worth bringing up. Or this could be apples and oranges. Vic Mignogna. I want to bring up that name.
Mr.
briefly.
Mangina, yes.
Yeah. Can we start drawing parallels here? Or this is not worth it?
I want to say it's not worth it. I mean, even saying his name is not worth it at this point.
Yeah, no, you're right. You are right. Because that's a very, like, if you want a reverse version where people will be where you will start to get support for the offender.
Those fans are another level, though.
But it's there.
Yeah.
There's no doubt it's there.
It's the grift, man. I get it.
Because, like, I mean, this is so easy to say for a lot of people with Watsuki right now. Within our fandom. But this gets different when he comes up, when Mr. V comes up.
Oh, those 4 awards really mattered. Holy crap.
Okay. Address. Can we, or should we just let that one sit? And
I feel like we should let that thing with him just sit a little bit. I mean, I get it, but I feel like it's apples and.
It's almost apples and oranges.
No, not apple. It's more like oranges and peaches type situation, or lemons and limes. That's probably what better.
That's a good way to put it.
You know, they're kind of similar. I get it, but
Whatever
one's
cliche you want to use.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, but just to make it, just to start to even it out a little bit, and to start to reel it into terms fandom outside of Japan can understand. Okay. So, just going to put that out there. A quick update from the mayoral election. Olivia Chow has pulled away. Now has a 17,000 vote lead.
It's at least 4 percentage points. I feel like it's kind of done. There's only a handful of stations still left. A little over 100. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, most likely she'll win, but we'll see. I like seeing the results of everyone else. Especially in the top 10 so far. I mean, all the normal names, but I feel like Saunders getting what he got. Like, Saunders has just slightly more votes than Fury, and I feel like that's gotta suck. No. I mean,
so even if one dropped out for the other, it wouldn't have mattered. Then.
No, if it was a coordinated effort between Saunders, Fury, and like Matt Lau and Brad Bradford and like a dozen other people, maybe.
But the problem is you have people on different ends of the spectrum.
I mean, it should, in my opinion, it should have always just been a 3-person race, right? The left, center, and then the right.
Why do you say that, Mo?
That's kind of what it is now, isn't it? NDP left-leaning Olivia Chow versus conservative right-leaning Saunders, and then middle of the road. Annabella.
No, she's a little more to the left.
Center right.
She's a little more to the right.
Yeah,
center right, but still kind of
center right. But
But you know what, though? I'm always a believer of you should just vote for who you truly believe is the best candidate for you.
No, that's dumb. Your vote's worth way too much to waste it on a pipe dream. Come on, guys.
That's the unfortunate thing about provincial and federal politics.
True.
Because of how our voting system works.
This was just most votes win.
No, so. I would agree on that voting, Kevin, if we had runoff elections. If we had another election where if you don't reach 50%, we have a runoff, and the top 2 or top 3 make it over, then yeah, vote your heart out, the first time. And then the second time, it's an easier choice to make.
Yeah, I hate that more often than not, I strategically vote for provincial and federal. Mm-hmm. See, I say all this, vote for who you believe, but I don't stick to my own principles because, unfortunately, that doesn't help you that much in the provincial and federal elections.
Another spike jump up by a solid 22,000 votes.
Well, in Ontario at least.
Anyway, okay.
Oh, are we?
Which way do we want to go with the rest of the space heater now? Because we're more than 50 minutes.
So
almost 15 minutes.
So I thought the One Piece live action trailer,
great segue by the way,
was pretty okay.
I will have to say that I also felt that it was meh. On a scale of 1 to 10, it felt like a 4.
So you don't. But how many of you are like? How big are you on One Piece?
Yeah,
though?
I think
that's the thing.
That also will probably be a big factor. I know, Kev, are you a bigger One Piece fan?
I think of the three of us, I've definitely consumed the most One Piece. I'm behind now, but in the manga, I am in the Wano arc, which was the second most recent arc now, because the Wano arc has since concluded, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice.
It's a little hard to advocate for One Piece now, just because.
Are we talking the live action One Piece?
No,
Or
I just mean in general, just
in general?
because what Amy said about Oda advocating for Watsuki is true. Because Oda definitely played a factor into that. 100%. But I will say I will say One Piece is very enjoyable. Even when you think of the big three back in the late 90s, early 2000s, One Piece was the better of the three in terms of story quality.
And when we take and I know the three.
So
If you had to rank it, I mean, what would you put it as?
I think he already has.
my
at least
sentimental
number one.
favorite is Bleach.
But Bleach isn't part of the big three.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, you know what? You're right, it is.
Who were you thinking was your three?
I was thinking Dragon Ball Z, but you're right. That's a little.
Yeah,
before
like
its time,
in theory, it really should be big five, because then you have Dragon Ball and you have Hunter x Hunter, and we're even excluding Yu-Gi-Oh from this too.
Nah, but Yu-Gi-Oh wasn't that big in regards to like.
What do you mean Yu-Gi-Oh is not big?
In regards to One Piece and Dragon Ball, I don't think so.
It had its.
No, maybe in terms of the actual content of the media,
original-
but when
in
you look
terms of-
at just pure size because of merchandise, yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh
That's true.
eclipsed that.
At that point, throw Pokemon into the mix.
Pokemon is not owned by Shueisha though.
That's true. Are we only going with Shueisha?
Well, I was thinking Shonen Jump specifically.
True.
But that's why, I look at this One Piece trailer and I thought, I just didn't know what to expect. And I came out of that trailer being cautiously optimistic that it could be okay. But then again, I also thought the live action Cowboy Bebop trailer was pretty okay, and left that trailer cautiously optimistic as well. So who knows?
Yeah, the thing is, just looking at some of the cinematography, some of the vibe between those two attempts at the live action, or between the Cowboy Bebop attempt and what I saw in the One Piece, I felt some similarities because there's a lot of the same. Isn't a lot of the same production companies involved
For the most part.
So so that feel is there.
I do feel like,
But this is just on stylistic. Sorry.
I do feel like some of the nuances of the characters seem pretty on point. Like, do I want Luffy enthusiastically screaming in an English live action adaptation? I really don't.
I don't think anyone wants that.
But
But you have this version of Luffy. You still see that kind of youthful enthusiasm that Luffy has.
Do you have any issues with the actor's accent in regards to how he performs Luffy?
No. From what I recall, Oda had this thing where he envisioned these characters being of certain racial backgrounds.
he said this. That's right. There was this long, he hadn't gone at length on this.
And-
So we have to refer back to this.
And the casting decisions were based off of that.
Yeah, Luffy's supposed to be Brazilian, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That was the first thing that came out of Oda's head, I guess.
And Zoro's obviously Japanese.
Or at least Asian.
Nami's American? No, that's not right.
I don't remember that article, to be honest, but that's why I don't mind the cast being racially diverse.
Because it was meant to be. It might have been by design.
You know,
Yeah, and because they're not Japanese.
no, they're not. Definitely not.
So
I mean, I don't think that's
them being all Japanese would have been weird to me,
You're right.
or Asian or whatever,
You know, you're right. You're right.
whatever kind of Asian.
I just think that it's like people are gonna be nitpicky about certain dialectic words that are said throughout.
Well, that's anime fans for you.
That's just hardcore fans of anything.
No, I don't know, man.
To me,
it's
like, this is a
the-
version.
it's
Anime
the-
fans are just conditioned to shit on live action adaptations of,
Nah, but
of
it's like
these
that.
properties.
But then you don't give them the ammo to shit on you with, you know.
even for the Japanese live action adaptations. Although they get less flack as a whole just because a lot of them don't come out here anyway.
True.
But like the CGI looks okay, but you know that scene was kind of dark, so it kind of masks some of the effects.
It's totally fine. They have a full 7 weeks to fix those CGI mistakes.
Like it looks all right, but then the one scene they use is just not a great representation of what it could be.
Yo, I'm just in my mind. I'm thinking like two major things. One, this is a really short teaser trailer, so not all the information is there, and the episodes could be literally anything, right? So, you know, optimistically, we can be happy that maybe it's a good storyline, or they introduce stuff properly, and the pacing's good, and the action's good. So, you know, there's a lot of upside to look forward to. My second concern is that maybe they pull a Cowboy Bebop ending. I don't know if you guys remember how Cowboy Bebop ended with a special
When
cameo.
they showed like that brief clip of Ed, yes.
Maybe they're Champa.
See, I'm happy they don't have Chopper in this.
Well, you don't, but they could have a teaser at the end.
I don't know if they would get to Chopper even by
You're right.
by the end of a theoretical second or even third season.
I mean,
Chopper is like a decent ways away.
true.
And from what I recall, correct me if I'm wrong, they're going to end it at the Arlong Park arc, right?
Believe so.
This is where this is basically Nami's arc. And this is also the first true instance of One Piece hammering you with that emotional impact that fans love about it. And that's not to discredit some of the stuff that happens in Sanji's arc. Well, Sanji's initial arc. Sanji's real arc is a whole other story. But the Arlong Park arc is the first real instance where fans can see how emotionally impactful One Piece can be. So I think that is a great stopping point for this live action adaptation.
Okay.
And supposedly Oda said, well, it's not coming out unless I'm happy with it.
And,
I mean, okay.
but is he towing a company line of some sort? That's the
I
part
can't
of
wait
this
for the
too.
retraction on that or the backtracking.
That's I know, right?
Yeah,
Like, see,
you think it's and a lot. I think fandom thinks it's inevitable.
and apparently he was more involved than you would expect. Apparently.
There's no level of involvement that you can be in that can satisfy the never-ending voracious appetite of anime fans. Right? He could have directed, written, animated. He could have single-handedly spent years building this live-action thing, and they would not be happy about it.
Yeah,
the conditioning of the fandom.
Yeah. And see, this is why we only have, like, arguably two good to decent Western live action adaptations of Western properties.
What are those?
And let's recap.
Battle Angel Alita
Okay, sure, okay.
and arguably Speed Racer.
Okay, but to be fair, Speed Racer is in that weird
Or Mako Go Go, as it's supposed to be called in Japan.
80s anime type scenario where it was like,
Redone.
yeah, right? So, I mean, a lot of people who watch Speed Racer didn't know it was like an anime per se, right? They
Still
thought-
technically counts, though.
True. And for Battle Angel was always weird to me because it's like, I remember watching that when it came out and thinking, hey, it's not a bad movie. It just isn't like amazing. But everyone said it was so good. I'm like,
It was just very entertaining and well executed. That was it.
I agree with that sentiment. I enjoyed it. I'm not masterpiece. Okay, we
No,
don't have,
yeah,
no,
I
maybe
wouldn't
not.
say it's a masterpiece, but
Much of it is always for me. After coming out, do I feel like I've wasted my time?
yeah, I
didn't feel that way.
I was just internally sobbing that throughout most of that movie experience, thinking, "Oh my god, this is actually pretty good."
Yeah,
It's actually good.
it was actually watchable. So,
And
knows?
you know, in Japan, they have their fair share of like decent to good live action adaptations as well.
They do. That Bleach one was not bad.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And
Well, to be
Kenshin
fair,
is there.
yeah, and
But-
but to be fair, like a good chunk of those are the ones that are more grounded in reality.
Oh well, then and they ultimately become obscure titles. Or,
So-
like I mean,
I don't know.
give me one.
thing that
Give me
I
one.
think
Your
of,
example.
I don't like the English name for this. They call it My Little Sister in English, but in Japanese it's Umimachi Diary. It was a shoujo or josei manga. I'm trying to remember who drew that. Like, was it Yumi? It was either Yumi Tamura or Saki Hiratari. I don't remember who it was.
Okay.
Yumi Tamura is the one who does Basara, and Saki Hiratari is the one that does Please Save My Earth. I need to double check though.
For me,
could be wrong.
For me, it was and you said grounded in reality, and we can start to go down the list of ones.
Well, I was wrong on both. So it was neither of those. It was Akimi Yoshida who drew Banana Fish.
There you go. For me, I can start to go down that list a little bit, but then again, it diverted from its source material, GTO, in the late '90s. And by the way, and Onizuka and Futsuki, in real life, those two are still together, and they're very tight. Here's Greenwood. There was a live action adaptation on the aughts, which I thought was great and really enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, I see. It's interesting that I talked about Greenwood on a Discord group, and I was a little surprised that the shoujo readers didn't like Greenwood that much.
Okay, that's fine.
I was surprised because I always liked Greenwood. I still own the manga,
I was always a fan.
and so I'm a fan of Greenwood, and it's like a nice like slice of life kind of series, and it features a predominantly male cast, which is not always the thing in shoujo manga. But I think that with live action adaptations, yeah, it's the ones that are grounded in reality that are obviously more likely to do better because
Well, you don't need those effects.
you don't need the effects. But then I feel like for like Western audiences, a lot of those are not likely to even happen.
That's the thing, because it doesn't have that wow factor.
Yeah.
They're just solid.
You would pray for someone like a Guillermo del Toro who is more invested in the culture to maybe even think of doing something like that. And he can, right? Like, even though it has some fantastic elements, you look at the
Pinocchio?
Shape of Water,
Oh, Shape Body. Yeah.
you know, where,
Which
you know,
I can't go. I can't go there.
it's a good movie. I was gonna say the fish fucking movie, but
It's the no.
I say that lovingly though. I think it's a good film.
It's the award-winning fish fucking movie.
Well, okay. The last example I want to bring up is a more recent one, and I brought up a few times on this podcast. That's a Great Passage. So because I was introduced to it during that on the Japan Foundation Film Festival online a few back in 2021.
Oh yeah, that was happening this month too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Toronto Japanese Film Festival, which is pretty much which has ended, right?
I think it has.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, JCCC. We couldn't bring it up much. But then I became familiar with Great Passage through the live action back in 2021, and then the anime adaptation, which was on Amazon through the Noitama line. Mm-hmm. And then I finally read the book all this was based on. They were all the same. They were all the same. I have the I have the Amazon Digital Publishing actually published the English version of that. So they had a vested interest in at least 2 versions of that because the anime was on Prime.
Oh, wish it wasn't Amazon, but oh well.
So it was and all 3 of them were pretty alike, I'd say.
Okay.
Pretty alike. Like most of the details of the key details were almost verbatim, but each and every version, as I read them and watched them and viewed them, all enjoyable nonetheless. I must have liked that story that much.
Another live action Japanese adaptation that I remember enjoying was Tokyo Tribes, directed by Shion Sono. I never read the manga, unfortunately, but it was just like a silly, fun film. Because basically, with each district of Tokyo had its own like gang, and so the main gang that you see the most is like the most air quotes normal one, but they're like the very like love and peace kind of group. And then every other gang was its own level of just weird or crazy.
Yeah. Well, but there's our talk. I mean, it's in many respects Japan has maybe at least gotten their version of the formula right, or it just hasn't gotten out overseas enough for people to realize it doesn't work for them. I think because there's probably an argument for both sides.
Well,
you just said it.
Even though we've now since had Parasite come out in films, I would still say a majority of people don't want to read subtitles.
I mean, yeah. There's a new Korean movie out called Past Lives, which is pretty good. But no, I hear what you're saying. It's
yeah, I've heard of Past Lives.
Yeah,
that's been
drive my car from a year or so ago. Like
I heard right now watching that one.
It's not like there isn't. It's not that there's not content out there to put something else to watch. It's just that I don't know. It's like not enough interest for it.
And then also, it's just Japanese like SFX is just still not quite there yet. They don't have the same kind of budgets.
I mean,
yes, but
yeah. Sorry, I was just gonna. When you said SFX for Japanese stuff, all I thought was Canon or Canod. No, Living Battle. You know what I'm talking about?
I feel like
She's a living weapon.
Oh, Saikano? Saikano. She the ultimate weapon?
She the ultimate weapon.
Yeah, Sai Shuheiki Kanojo in Japanese, yeah.
The live action for that was, not the best.
I forgot that had a live action adaptation in Japan.
The CGI was not the best.
See,
that sucks, because Saikano does have a good story.
Oh, it's an amazing story. The anime was great for that.
It's pretty soul-crushing at times, I'll say.
But that's what made it so good.
Yeah.
well, but then again, it's... See here, okay, well, as you brought all this up, and this whole bit about Japanese special effects not being up to snuff, and this is now diverting a little bit. It's the reaction to the live action Voltus 5 that was made in the Philippines.
Yes,
because generally it seems to be panned. Everybody seems to be panning it.
Interesting,
but there's a lot of interest in watching this in Japan. Because I think it just harkens back to a lot of that cheesy Sentai stuff that
they've nailed down pat.
And they really do legitimately enjoy. So your Biomans, which became the Power Rangers here, your Ultramans, etc.
Kamen Rider.
Kamen Rider. And I think there's that vibe that seemingly has the curiosity of Japanese people to want to see this now. So maybe this is a matter of taste as well, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Although, and something to either look forward to or fear. Isn't somebody going to attempt a live action adaptation of Your Name?
I could see it happen.
Well, I mean, I think that had been bandied about for the last number of years. We just haven't heard anything about it recently.
Well, you know what I'm thinking.
What's that?
We have a live action Bleach adaptation.
Gotcha.
Yes.
We will have a One Piece live action adaptation.
That's
Yes.
two.
When's Naruto's turn?
I believe that's 20XX.
So basically, in the time of Mega Man.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
No, but I mean, I don't think anyone. I mean, how would they even like? You know. I think that a Naruto live action, with the way AI is going now, will probably be happening sooner rather than later. And when it does happen, it's gonna suck monkey balls, and everyone's gonna hate it, and that's gonna like cause some kind of untowards violence towards someone, and then we're gonna hear nonstop about how anime live actions caused this dude to get killed, and then we'll never get another anime live action again because it'll be so bad.
No,
or just
we
plain
will
banned.
always
It'll
have
be
attempts now.
it's snuff live action.
No, anime is mainstream now. There will now be future adaptations made, whether we like them or not.
Well, here's and I said this to you, everybody else. Fine, it's not your money.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
This is somebody else who wants to make that attempt.
That's true.
You do not have to watch this.
I mean, look
You're
at the
right.
live action Saint Seiya.
God.
Yeah,
See,
that's right.
the thing is, McKenyu.
Which makes me sad, 'cause
I literally forgot that existed, and I saw that in theaters. I literally forgot that existed.
You wanted those 2 hours back.
Oh my God, Kevin! Thank you for reminding me about 2 hours of my life that I'm never gonna get back, man. Holy crap, was that movie bad? What were they thinking? How did this like? Oh, it's so bad.
But on this topic,
It's a little sad
Common
just
thread.
because I do really enjoy Saint Seiya. Like I've read and I've owned the manga, read all of it, love it.
This would have killed you.
Oh really?
It is.
Oh.
I mean, as a casual fan of Saint Seiya, it was bad, but like a person who knows all the plot points and all the details and all the references and stuff, like it's not good, man.
I kind of wanted to
it's-
see
it'll
it.
kill
Like,
your soul.
I still want to see
in
it.
a NASCAR crash kind of way,
Yeah,
right?
I still want to see it, but I think I was just like, I was only willing to even consider paying for it on a Tuesday, and then I just forgot about it too, to be honest with you.
Okay, we'll just bootleg it. Anyway,
I'll go up on some streaming service eventually.
At some point.
maybe Crunchyroll. It is a Sony film. Look, common thread in all these titles: Saint Seiya, Kenshin, One Piece, and we haven't brought up Death Note, but all four of these live actions have one person in common:
Who?
McKenyu.
Oh, really?
Yes, he's in the One Piece. Obviously, you know that.
No, I forgot about that actually.
Yeah, and everyone know, and you guys know who McKenyu is, right?
I also forgot who McKenyu is. I just know
Well-known
that
actor,
he's
but
been
his dad is-
around. I just know he's
Yes.
been around.
But it's
yeah.
his father that's probably most noteworthy. He's Sonny Chiba's son,
All right.
and he was in Saint Seiya.
He wasn't Saint Seiya.
He was in the live action Kenshin as Anishi.
What's Sonny Chiba?
Yep.
No,
his son,
in
his son,
McKenyu, his son.
Okay.
He'll be obviously. We know he's in One Piece. He wasn't, and he's in a recent attempt, I think, at Death Note. So he seems to figure into these attempts quite a bit.
So he's just using his dad's money to do this? Is that what
No,
you're
his
saying?
dad's dead for starters.
So
he
he's
died
using
during
his
the
dad's
pandemic.
money to do this?
No, but he is going off like he is a big name. He has become a big name in Japan. Obviously, he can speak English. Obviously, so he's figuring into these. Maybe I don't know what that says about his script selections, but
Is he actually like? He's not actually producing this.
no,
he's just being
he's just a star.
casted. Yeah.
he's just being like he just seems to find himself in these attempts, right?
So I know we diverted from actual One Piece discussion on the trailer, but
Okay, so
I
on the trailer.
I actually like some of the stylistic choices of the cast in terms of just their appearance. Like some of the outfits do look a bit cosplay, but
I like that cosplay.
Cosplay, yes.
but like I'm okay with Usopp not having a long nose. I'm okay with Sanji not having his curly
How
eyebrow.
dare you? the internet just is furious, man. What are you talking about? He has to have that curly eyebrow. Without that, how do you know he's not? What's his face?
And
See, I'm okay with these little minor subtle changes that, they just would have looked a little more cheesy in live action. So, like, I think they're doing some things right. The buggy shot was interesting.
I feel like that was a good. It's one of those shocking moments where we're like, wow, there should, it's like, didn't expect he was gonna be in there, and now he is.
Because Buggy is a pretty unhinged character.
Yep.
So Buggy does look legitimately scary in that one shot we saw.
okay. Oh, by the way, I did get my facts wrong on some of the more recent live actions that McKenna was in.
Okay.
It's Full Metal Alchemist.
He's also in Kenshin.
Oh,
Yes.
that shitty.
I did mention
Japanese live action adaptation of
it's-
Full Metal Alchemist.
I don't know how recent it is. It's a 2022 attempt.
Oh, he was in Overdrive too. Whoa.
I always just remember how
He was in Overdrive. He was in Peach Girl.
The only thing I remember about that live action Full Metal Alchemist movie was how in posters they couldn't even put the actor's face on there because he was a member of Johnny's.
On the topic of going,
And you see where,
Like
and
these
I was,
type of stuff.
and I was, and only now I feel vindicated in insulting Johnny Kitagawa all this time
just stomp in his grave, right?
because he was a piece of shit too. Like,
Yes.
see, he molested like all those boys and fucked them.
It's kind of the same thing.
Well, molesting doesn't always mean you're penetrating them, in my mind at least. But like it's like because only now that the BBC finally was able to put out their expose on Johnny Kitagawa in Japan. Now people are finally talking about it because the media was so scared of not having access to their stars for interviews or TV shows and whatnot.
It takes an outsider.
Yeah.
It took an outsider.
It took an outsider to do it.
Public broadcaster.
Yes. And you know
But
what?
that is and that is such, and in that sense, it's probably such an insulting thing for that with the way like a big insulting statement about the hierarchy. There, it is a sad statement.
And you know, it made me think. It made me think of who the potential victims could have been. There's a rock band a friend and I like, and he actually was part of Johnny's at one point, but he left very early on. So he was a junior Johnny's member, but he never actually got into like a
The
group.
system really
Yeah.
got into the system.
But I later learned that his parents were in the industry, so maybe that was how he initially got in, and maybe that was why he left very early,
Because he had his backup.
or maybe something did happen to him. I don't want to name who it is, but it made me. It just came into my mind a couple of days. I was like, oh, maybe like we'll never know probably, but it just made me think. I was like,
Okay.
yeah. But yeah, fuck Johnny Kitagawa.
Yeah. Okay. Before we now to go back
I can't
to the
like,
track one more time.
I would gladly piss on his grave if I was in Japan,
I mean,
assuming that there was no security there.
Yeah. I cannot.
Look on your face.
He can't. It's just. I think he's just like most of us are like we're gobsmacked at how badly that we've gone off track. So
man.
can I go back on track just
Let's do-
before
yeah,
to end it?
let's do
just
it.
to end this,
Yeah,
and
sure.
then we'll go off the back to the
I shit
original
on his grave
off
too
track.
while I was at it.
Yeah, and then we'll go back to the original track we weren't supposed to be on, but as we started the episode, it's a full circle.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yep.
Okay, what has been the general internet opinion of that trailer?
most people are like, we'll wait and see, right? I mean, the trailer itself was very short. Didn't get that much in it. I mean, you got some of it, but not that much. I mean, I guess it's hard to form a concrete opinion on such a short trailer, right? Teasers. So plus it's 2 months away. You know, that's
Because
close enough time that once it comes out, we'll get a better idea. But I think one of the reactions people have had with it is the sticker shock of the pricing on this. $18 million an episode. That's
Oh.
more than the Mandalorian, bro.
Because they're hoping that the set pieces can be reused for a season 2, I guess. I don't know.
I mean,
Well,
or maybe Eiichiro Oda really was like, no, that's shit. Do it again.
or just massive fraud.
Like Xiao Honghua.
well, I mean, you hear you hear stories about. On the topic of massive fraud, you hear stories from the original Iron Chef about how some of the chefs like to, towards the end of battles, had a habit of opening cans of caviar. It wasn't going to be used
Nope.
in the dishes they were making, but they can take it home with them after.
Absolutely.
Imagine Dad when he was a kid.
Anyway. But, okay, because you sent a video of one of the Trash Taste Boys, their reaction. It was a 25-minute reaction video. And what was the upshot of that? I haven't watched it yet because
I think basically the same thing was just like, we'll wait and see.
This
Although
is-
I will say one of his key points was in regards to the Japanese or the Englishization of the special moves and how, I get it. I mean, I get it. You hear them say their special final moves a million times in a certain dialect. You kind of expect them to do that even through here. But, it's...
Yeah, that's a him problem. That's Joey's problem.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Joey's personal problem with it.
I like how we didn't mention who it was, but you knew exactly who it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joey's great.
So,
I like Joey's content, but
Right,
that's a him problem.
two things. One, I guess there's to the fact that there is this wait and see attitude overall, generally speaking, seemingly, that's a good sign, I guess, for how could this end up. But the second thing is always a trailer makes something look better than it will turn out to be.
100,000%. We are looking at like a highly photoshopped image on Instagram right now. That's all we're seeing. Maybe they'll release a video later on that's not so highly stylized.
And maybe that's why Studio Ghibli is not putting out any trailers for their upcoming movie.
No, that's more of a what's his face.
That's more of a Miyazaki thing, I think.
Yeah, they don't want to do it. Because they're fucking Studio Ghibli. We don't need to.
No, we
put
don't
out
need
all
to.
this stuff.
This stuff sells itself. It will.
Even though he,
In many respects, this is not a hard, anything with Miyazaki isn't a hard sell.
even though they didn't put out a truly great film since Spirited Away.
I don't know. When was Howl's Moving Castle? No. Kiki was before that.
Yes, Kiki was
Kiki
well
was
before
Spirited?
that.
I said Spirited Away.
And that's it. Nothing else has been even remotely awesome since then, no?
I hate to see. I say this because, when you think of Studio Ghibli, you think of basically. Okay, yes, people think of Howl's too. Even though I really don't think Howl's Moving Castle is that great of a film.
It's Totoro, it's Kiki's, it's Spirited Away. Those are that's the
And
holy
Nausicaa,
trinity.
Well, what happened?
and Grave of the Fireflies.
Yes.
I mean, I liked Porco Rosso.
Yeah, but people. Yes, Porco Rosso. I haven't watched that yet, so I don't have an opinion.
A little bit of a deeper cut.
But people don't talk about Porco Rosso that much, despite of.
I
its
just thought it was
prominence.
that was a fun one.
And
I had a lot of
and you
fun
know
with
what?
that.
I say this despite really liking some of those films after Spirited Away. So, and it's bad that I don't remember their names off the top of my head. but,
Ponyo, Tales of
I
Earthsea.
didn't finish Ponyo. I watched. I think I watched
this
like
in this
60% of
corner,
Ponyo.
Is in this corner of the
No, it's not. In this
that's
corner of the
another
world is
studio.
not from Ghibli.
Okay.
Although I hear it's a fantastic film. When Marnie was there is okay. It was decent.
Oh yeah, Mononoke. We didn't talk about Princess Mononoke.
Yeah, that's also a truly great one.
Yeah.
See, I think Princess Kaguya is really good, but people just don't talk about it in the same way as those ones do. And I actually think The Wind Rises is a very impressive
That's-
film, but
okay.
people just don't talk about it in the same way as those ones too.
Hey, Netflix, get your Netflix subscription. Although,
And
God damn.
what's the one? I'm trying to think
knew
of
you
the
were about to
one
go.
that his son did after Earthsea that I really like, and I don't remember the name.
was it the CG one?
No. Oh God, I forgot about Earwig and the Witch.
But there's a but you know how see it's just
I really
so
like
weird
this
to talk.
film. It's bothering me I don't remember the name.
It's just so weird to talk about Goro Miyazaki sometimes, right? I mean, what we now know of his relationship with his dad, right? Mm-hmm. So, the Tales of Earthsea, Ponyo as an animator, from Up on Poppy Hill.
That's the one I really like.
2011.
I honestly thought Poppy Hill was very good, but it's kind of in the same vein as, say, Only Yesterday, in that it kind of feels like a nostalgia piece.
Yeah, so.
And I also hate how like not enough people talk about Only Yesterday, and that is a fantastic film. It's in my top 3.
Once again, Netflix subscription.
For Ghibli films, it's in my top 3.
Well, isn't it cool to be in Canada to have that option to watch?
I mean,
But I know Netflix made other news earlier this week, and
they're gonna come to a breaking point at some point. I mean,
we think it's close now. It's getting closer and closer, is it not?
absolutely. I mean, I think the real question in regards to the One Piece in general is, what's the under-over on it being canceled in a week? You know, I feel like no matter what kind of reception it gets, no matter how awesome or how enthusiastic people are to it, I feel like it'll get a bunch of people watching it, first week numbers and so forth, massive drop-off, or you know what will happen to it? What happened to The Flash? That's what will happen to it. A lot of hype around it, no one watches it, it gets canceled.
Shazam 2 looks great. No,
I'm just reading the
It's
article
just-
quickly,
Yeah.
and yeah, basically, Hayazaki and Suzuki were saying how they just don't have the energy for the whole full blown marketing cycle.
What energy? Don't they have like other companies to do it for them?
Well, they're just 80, they're old.
You make your art and then pass it off to your producers or distributors or whatnot. and have
Oh
them market
no,
the crap out of
Suzuki
it.
has to put that money towards his girlfriend instead.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
You hear about that?
No, I did not. But I think
I got to hear this at the end. We got to hear this
Yeah,
at the
he's
end.
funneling money to his girlfriend, his Southeast Asian girlfriend. That looks like 30 years younger than him.
Cannot wait to turn off the mics.
And they were also saying how, if audiences are interested in watching something, they won't need to see trailers to be convinced.
bullshit. Sorry about my language, but yes, bullshit.
Well, we've gone a lot of 4 letters here tonight.
He mentioned that some films spoil their stories through their trailers, which is true.
That's true. That's true.
Pointing fingers at a certain Hollywood film that will open in Japan around the same time as How Do You Live?
What movie would that be?
I don't remember, and I don't care. But like, I see the reasoning, but I also just feel like they just don't want to spend the money. They are tired of. I assume that he's not lying about them being tired of being involved in that whole marketing process. But it's also, we're fucking Studio Ghibli. People will come and watch us anyway.
There's a certain amount of mailing in I'm seeing here.
Well, it's probably going to be his last film. It's probably going to be Miyazaki's last film.
Now that he's old enough, we can probably say that. Although, we've always made the joke, it's been his last film for a while.
But they don't have a lot of their staff from the past anymore, though.
Yeah.
Because they just weren't putting out as many films.
And
Wait,
okay.
what did he say about that? The trailer showing everything? What movie was he talking about?
They didn't say specifically what film.
Send me the
he
link.
meant.
Send
Because
me
it's
the
like
link
near
later.
the same time as his coming out, and the only thing coming out near the same time as his is Mission Impossible, and I feel like
Just can you send me the link?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Yeah, but it's also kind of like, I read that, I'm like, obviously we'll see, but I'll admit, when I read the whole story about Suzuki and his girlfriend and how basically he was siphoning money away from the company to like hire her to do stuff, and then the initial successor of Suzuki kind of was like, hey, you kind of shouldn't do that, and eventually sacked him for it. So what does
Suzuki?
that? Yeah. So like, what does that tell you? Is that a
who's
coincidence?
really in charge?
Like, it wasn't
Yes.
immediate. He wasn't let go immediately, but it was just, after a while he did. So like, what does that tell you? It's face. That's what it is.
No comment. Okay. Isn't this such a fun way to start the summer? And on that note, just to go first full circle, yes, a winner has been declared. Would you like to say this?
Shockingly speaking, the person we thought was going to win has won. Mrs. Chow is now our mayor.
Olivia Chow is now the mayor of Toronto.
Will become the what is it? How many people? How many people have held the role? I don't know. I forgot.
Oh no, it's not that many. It hasn't been that many.
Anyway, but yeah, she'll
Especially since amalgamation.
There you go. Going
I'm
mega
just
city.
very satisfied that John Tory
Didn't get what he
he wanted.
I will say, if he had endorsed Annabella, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, she might have won.
It's a remote possibility, yes.
So that was one of those too little, too late type things.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
guys, they were desperate. You can tell they were kind of like, oh shit, the Asian might actually win. Let's not have her win. So let's actually try and get everyone to do the Stop Chow campaign or whatever the hell that was.
Did you
You heard that? You heard that's Mark Saunders' radio ad?
That was so bad.
That was so desperate.
Whew, not good.
Saunders is how you stop Chow.
No, it's not.
So
It's so dumb.
it is. It is. That was such a. Anyway,
I just, it's just that hearing that he was an ineffective police chief in some aspects made me sour my thoughts on him. My thoughts soured on him when I
Well, a lot of
kind of
people
read up the
soured,
criticisms on him.
yeah,
Yes.
and a lot of people soured up on Mark Saunders at the very end there. Anyway, so that's our first full circle moment. We do now have a new mayor. This will be interesting, but that's perhaps another. That's like really off topic on a taping that went off the rails pretty quickly.
I feel like if Olivia Chow can do even a quarter of the impactful things that she did for Calgary, then I'll consider that a win for the city.
Considering the way this city has evolved over the last decade,
So
that's probably a fair statement.
So she will be the 66th mayor of Toronto.
I was thinking we were in the 60s.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, yeah, this will be interesting. This is about to get interesting.
I'm just not looking forward to Doug Ford not working with her.
I mean, I think it's just going to be funny when he cuts the council in half again.
Oh God! He cuts the city hall in half. Yeah, again. Yeah.
Because Doug is the real leader.
Absolutely, man. You know him.
I mean, he really wanted to be mayor of Toronto, right?
Yeah, and that's now we're paying for it.
And he has asserted
Okay, I
his
shouldn't
control.
say we. I don't live in the
I
city,
don't
but
think he wanted to be mayor that badly. I think he wanted to be premier always.
I feel like he initially wanted to be mayor, and then after he didn't become the mayor, it kind of something clicked in his head, and I was like, well, wait.
I can still exert my control somewhere else.
Yeah.
I mean,
on the city in another form, and he did.
What was that
Yeah,
thing? If you shoot for the moon or shoot for the stars, hit the moon kind of situation.
And so, yeah, he's exacted revenge on the city of
Shoot for the
Toronto
moon,
for how
hit
they
the
treated
stars.
his now departed brother,
Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
our favorite crack smoking mayor, Rob Ford.
he was interesting. Anyway, that's that because we've talked long enough, and hey, we got to watch all the results at the same time.
I don't know, man. There's still a handful of polling stations left. Maybe there's like a surprise upset.
Bam!
No, I
6,000
think
votes for
I think
Anna
this is like
Bailao.
one up. So this is like a golf match. It's out of reach
Oh
now.
yeah, upset's up.
Right, it's like
a
match play in
30,
golf.
40,000 vote deficit. There's no way they're coming back from that.
Yeah, so there's 3 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the reason why I did not want Anna Bailao to become the mayor is
Because she drinks and drives.
like I say that semi-facetiously, but I think it was more to do with
status quo.
it's that. But I just think of how the way she basically didn't get much of any penalty, which makes me wonder, so how did you get away with that?
To be fair, she's getting her just comeuppance right now by not becoming the mayor of Toronto.
Well, there'll always be future possibilities and opportunities, but
I mean, do you think so?
you never know. But
I mean, this term, all Olivia Chow gets to do is finish the term.
Oh shit!
which is
that's
basically
true.
which is like 3.5 years.
Yeah,
because John had just started his third term at the time.
Yeah, so
he,
it's pretty much 3. Yeah,
got caught. So it's still a decent amount of time.
Yeah. Well, we can parse this. We can parse this over another set of iced coffees. You want to do that?
Oh man, that'd be great.
Let's do that, and then I can
Who
explain.
needs sleep?
Yeah, and then I can explain, and then I can go through the how my last week went.
You know,
Just reenact
I
everything
will
again.
say,
last thought.
I did like Mitzi Hunter's platform as well. So I'm hoping Olivia Chow brings her on board
To do what?
to maybe actually try and build affordable housing
That's
and
not gonna
stuff.
happen. Olivia Chow will do what John Tory did, which is nothing. I'm sorry. That's just the way.
No, I think Chow will at least do a little more than
Here's the
what
funny
Anna
part, she
Bailao would have.
and she inherits.
Because I remember reading up on a debate where Bailao was saying, "So how much are you going to tax the city, Olivia? Give us a number."
Oh,
and
she said
then,
2%, right? She Gianna said 2%.
And then I don't know. I didn't read that part, but then Olivia said 0, which I don't believe her.
True,
but
obviously
but
not.
she said 0, kind of alluding to the fact that Bailao started this whole like affordable housing advocacy campaign. So it's like 0, just like the amount of houses you built with your advocacy. This advocacy campaign was basically what she alluded to, and I was just like, "Ooh,
Touche.
I can smell the steak from
Touche,
here.
right?
I can smell the burning steak from here."
And what was I about to say? Oh, my father's gone.
And that's the Anime Roundtable, everyone.
Yeah, as I said, I'll go through.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Reaches at all the socials.
We barely use most of our social media anyway.
And we didn't really talk anime that much.
But yeah, so animeroundtable.com is our site that I don't think is fully updated right now.
By the time this goes up, at least we'll have episode 82 fully mentioned on that site.
And
I told
I'm not going to mention the social media platforms so we don't use them. But
but email's always up.
yes,
you know?
email.
animeroundtable@gmail.com, at Anime Roundtable, Twitter, Instagram, and
I
TikTok.
had to mention them.
They're still around, until they're
still
no
around
longer
for now.
around. Until our government tells us they're not, accessible.
It's not as if we're news.
Or whenever
okay?
Twitter implodes, which it will not happen
Don't
at this point.
implode.
No,
timing?
don't worry.
What timing?
The Saudi government will take over, like they took over Gulf, and they'll own all our stuff.
And how it took over SNK.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And reviews and stuff
on whatever podcast platform you hear this.
Yeah, we really would appreciate reviews and the 5-star ones especially.
We're looking for a record here.
It'd be great.
And follow us on whatever platform we're on, just in case. Okay.
So we're done, right?
Yeah, let's go get a coffee. Have a good night.
Good night.